around here. So I had my stroke 9 years ago. A little bit of backstory is that, I was completely paralyzed on my left, and I was 38 at the time, and my kids were 3, 7 and 9, and it was a massive blow to us all. And I was lucky in that I had really good healthcare in hospital, and the nurses were awesome. And we did actually have a doctor in there who was a registrar, and he explained quite a lot about the stroke. When I went out and I ended up being in private, that was good as well. But it got to a point where, I was there for 3 weeks as an inpatient and then became an outpatient, which was great. And it got to the point where basically they said, okay, well, we've reached the end now. So he gave me a list of names. As I said before, I didn't know what the names were, I didn't know who they were, and I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. But I ended up really fighting to stay in there, and then I had to fight to, really work out exactly what therapists worked for me. My stubbornness and complete sort of pig-headedness, I suppose, got me to where I am. But I know that there are a lot of people there are massive gaps in the system nationally. Like, it's not, and it all seems really quite random, all different places, depending on what sort of stroke you had, what sort of care you had, what sort of hospitals you went to, all that kind of thing. So one of the things that I'm really trying to do, not only in Stroke Foundation's Young Stroke Project, but also within South Australia, and to then look at nationally, are what are the gaps and what are the things that we as stroke survivors need. So not only do we ideally need something post-rehab or even actually rehab in general, we also want to be able to live. I had young children at the time. There are people that have or want children. There are people that are younger. I'm meeting younger stroke survivors each and every day, and it's scary. It's scary that a lot aren't with the fast symptoms, so they're either having vicious vomiting and headaches and that kind of thing, but there isn't the weakness on one side. There's not the face droop, there's not the arms, there's not the speech, and so people aren't recognizing that it's a stroke. But what I'm trying to do with researchers and with even Stroke SA and with Stroke Foundation is finding those gaps. So I would love if you could help me out. I think I've said it before, I have a survey that I'm doing with Flinders Research, Flinders Uni, of research sort of questions. And it's about 15 minutes long. And look, it is a little bit long, but we're trying to cover what your initial experience was, then obviously what your experience was, if anything, with NDIS or disability pension and that kind of thing, because we, on a young stroke side, we cover all of those things, and we really want to be able to try and find the gaps so that we can go to government or we can go to different funding bodies and saying, this is what we need. So as I've said before, I'm really happy to help people out. I'm happy to walk through the research questions with you over the phone or by Zoom or anything like that. Just private message me and I will get in contact with you. And yeah, the more information that we have, the better, I think. And ideally, if we can try it, for me, if I can make someone else's journey shorter and easier than my 9 years has been, well, then it's a win for me. So get in contact with me if you can. I'm sure, sorry that this is a bit of a long video, but yeah, as you can see, I'm fairly passionate in that I really want to be able to make sure that we can try and start making a difference. Thanks. See ya.